I was at Comic-Con, and this thing was like, they showed the film, it world premiered, and all the fans went like crazy for it. So like to be able to watch this film, work on it for so long, and to be able to finally see the fruits of your labor with these fans that are like completely fanatical. What was it like that day?
Well, it was, speaking of fruit, it was like peaches and cream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it was like gravy.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
a harpoon to the heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you want the fans to like it. We want the world to like it, or America to like it. But first and foremost, the fans of the comic book who have invested years, in these comics, and also waiting for the film, those are the people that were at Comic-Con who were waiting to see it. And we want them to give it their kind of stamp of approval, like them to say,
this makes me happy.
Yeah, this makes me happy.
The film is such a, there's so many different references throughout the whole thing. Like there's video games, there's manga, there's all this kind. So were you guys fans of these things? And like when you were practicing like your fighting and stuff, did you like watch video games like the Ninja Turtle Foot Clan and like kind of like go with it and see if, pick up some like stuff with that?
Well, not the Foot Clan specifically, but like I played Contra every night after work while we were shooting, which is, like an original Nintendo game. Not for any reason, really. I was, my folks live an hour from where we were shooting, so my childhood Nintendo was there, and I brought it to my apartment, and it was just really nice after work to go home and do that. And
that's awesome.
That was it, though. There weren't really any comics that I read for inspiration or anything, other than Scott Pilgrim. But Nintendo really did, for some reason, get me in the spirit of the movie.
Edgar is such an awesome director. I followed him from Space to onwards, and so there's this kind of the joke is always in the mundane answer. Like he always picks like the crazy, or like if you think something's normal, it jumps into something completely insane. So how did he kind of like add his stamps into a very successful? I mean, Scott Pilgrim is a funny, has their own rhythm and stuff like that. So how does he, as a director, kind of throw his stuff in to make it his kind of movie?
Well, they worked on the script for years. He and Michael Bacall, constantly going through the books for dialogue and coming up with their own. They're both really great, funny dialogue writers themselves, and writers, in general. So I think just, thinking about it for so long, he just found so many different things. They just found every possible angle they could have.
And just like visually and editing, they were able to give it their, like, Edgar's stamp, you know what I mean? And it's like so many of his, like, so much of his humor, it's like so weird. You didn't even get it until you're seeing the movie, some of the stuff. Like, we're just in the foreground of some of these things talking, and I mean, maybe I'm just unaware as an actor, but there's just stuff going on in the background, or little things that are hysterical to me that he really, it is like a treasure hunt. Mm-hmm. Just all the little things he's hidden everywhere in there. It's really fun, and he's a fan of movies, and it's like he made a movie almost like for the fan and himself. So he filled it with all kinds of things that, when you go back, we watched it a bunch of times at Comic-Con, and every time I saw something new.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of going to be endless, the amount of treats he kind of hid in the film,
There are so many actors in the movie. There are so many different people to pay attention to each viewing and see what they're doing. And it happens so fast that, you can't see it all at once. You have to see it again just to, like, watch what Kieran's doing in the background or something.
Yeah.
You had a very hard task of like being in almost pretty much every single scene in the film. So how do you kind of like, be an actor, be an action star, be all that kind of stuff? Like it's a multiple hyphenate that you managed to like become for this film. Do you feel like you're ready for, I don't know, this is the rebirth of Michael Cera? I don't know, like what do you think this kind of does for you as an actor?
I feel like a sheep that's been shorn.
I love Shaun of the Dead.
I don't know. It was just taking it day by day. It was inspiring watching Edgar juggle even, a million more things than that, because he was having to keep all of these elements in mind too, and he was writing and editing and running around and training with us, and Yeah. So it's when you have a director that is working so hard like that, it's really inspiring and makes you feel like you want to make them proud.
Yeah.
Work hard for them.